Hi, this is Nikolas Golden from Golden, and you are listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
Where are you located?
I'm in Brooklyn.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm originally from Long Island.
Oh, you're from Long Island. I can kind of hear it.
Yeah, I've been out for 30 years, but somehow it still sneaks back. I'm in Richmond.
Really? Virginia?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. How is it down there?
It's cold, but I guess it's cold there too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I could definitely still hear the Long Island.
It's affordable to live here though, and that's the
exactly.
That's the big thing.
That makes all the difference.
I come back up to visit often, and there's no way I could pay that kind of rent or property tax or any of that crap. It's much easier outside of the city.
It is a struggle. It is absolutely a struggle.
Anyway, so we're not here to talk about where I'm from. Let's talk about Golden. Hemophilia, yes. New record.
Yes.
Actually, let's take one step back. For those not familiar with Golden, can you give us the 2-sentence elevator pitch?
Sure. The elevator pitch is that's, oh goodness. Golden is a manifestation of all of the things that I have trouble saying in day-to-day conversation. And I hope that it's something that people can connect to. I guess I want people to listen to it and feel that someone understands their feelings and the things that they can't really express.
Okay, so I'm gonna just jump around here. That brings up a question for me. Do you ever feel that, or do you ever have trouble putting all of that inside shit out for the public? And do you ever feel like either I can't do that, or holy shit, I did that and I shouldn't have, or any of that sort of stuff?
Every single time. Every time. Yeah. I'm a really shy person as far as day-to-day interaction with people goes. So it's scary. Yeah, it's scarier when I'm performing it live. I think recording it and putting it out, especially with the way that things are now, you don't really see any kind of automatic feedback. Whereas it's very immediate when you're on the stage and you're looking at the faces of people as they hear your lyrics. I don't think I've said anything too heinous just yet, but but who knows? It'll probably come. But yeah, no, it's definitely always kind of an inner struggle of can I say this? Can I say this out loud?
Right. So yeah. I guess that's the point where you become vulnerable to get your message across. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it takes a certain degree of willing your own self-destruction, I guess, or being open to the fact that you could completely destroy the way that people see you.
However, on the flip side, it could be quite cathartic, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm a bit of a shy person. So I think it is difficult for me to express, the stronger emotions, the anger, the angsty stuff. Right. I think if not for that outlet, I think I might be an angrier person.
Right. No, I agree. And I think that's a lot of the reason people are drawn to metal. I mean, I've been in, or heavier music, not just metal, but I've been a fan, since I was a kid, but it's very, very cathartic. There's nothing better to me than, on a really bad day, cranking Machine Head or Slayer, like as loud as I possibly can. And people don't get it, but it's definitely a release, both for the artist and the listener.
It is. Yeah, no. And I mean, I hope that's what people get out of listening to our music. It's just, because that is what it is for me. Absolutely.
What was I going to ask you? So when you're writing, are you writing, we talked about, your inner demons or whatever, getting that stuff out, but is there something you want your fans to take away from after listening to Hemophilia in particular?
In particular, Hemophilia, I kind of, most of it is kind of like a remix album of the first EP, First Blood. Right. But, there are a couple of new songs. And I think for me in particular, I've been struggling a lot with the idea of image and the struggle for perfection. I mean, I think everybody experiences that, especially in today's society and,
right, social media,
social media,
right?
Of course. Yeah. I know it's kind of probably a tired topic of conversation, but, like Suicide Machine was just all about that. You have people literally killing themselves because they feel like they can't be perfect enough. Because when you're online and you make, and I think everybody's done it at some point, you make an offhand comment that might mean nothing to you, but, really strikes the person to the core, and they really take it to heart. And I think we're all guilty of it. I think the awareness is a lot better than it was, than in the early onset days of the internet. And, I think it's less common for people to say, "Hey, go kill yourself." But I think it is still an important issue to talk about. And I guess that's what that was about, that idea of how you would rather die than not be perfect or not be what people want you to be. So that was a big theme for sure. And yeah.
So that's that's heavy stuff. And I'm wondering, do you have stories, or how does it make you feel when a fan connects with, what you wrote in your bedroom or whatever? You must get emails or messages, when you're on stage or in the crowd or something. Somebody must say, "Hey, I connected with that and it changed me," or something, right?
Yeah, no, it is. We're still kind of starting out, but there have been a couple of those instances, and it does feel like it makes it worth it. It kind of solidifies my reasoning, I guess, for doing what I do. And I don't know, and that's the whole point, is just to make people feel like they're not alone, and kind of make them understand that everybody else sees what they see too. Because I think everybody has a tendency to, and this is actually something I kind of was exploring with the cover of Animal and the music video for Animal, was that we're all in our own little cages and we're so afraid to speak to each other, and nobody realizes that everybody is the same. Or if we do realize, it's very surface level. It's like, oh, we're the same, but they don't understand this thought or this feeling. But I think the reality is that most people have the same thoughts and feelings, whether they're dark or not, or, whether they're intrusive thoughts or horrible things. I think everybody thinks the same kind of way. And I just think it's really hard for people to express that to each other because of the fear of judgment. So I think that's definitely the point of doing what I do, is to kind of say, "Hey, I see you, everybody sees you, we're the same."
Right. That's super important. But I also wonder, do you feel a certain sense of responsibility then, having that sort of power, or that sort of, I don't know, platform, I guess is the word, maybe platform to, to get that message out?
Truthfully, no. Perhaps I should. I do. I have a kind of affinity for a little bit of chaos too. So I know that I tend to write things in a way that could be taken very much the opposite of the way that I actually mean them. And I think I realize that when I'm writing it. Someone could listen to Suicide Machine, or there's a song that I've been working on where the lyrics are, I guess, controversial is the word I would use, and I could see how somebody could take it the wrong way. So maybe I should feel more of a sense of responsibility, but I also think that in trying to get the message out, you have to kind of, I don't want to use the word shock, because that's not the point of what I do, but you have to kind of shock people into listening, and then hope that they look further and deeper, and hope that they will analyze the lyrics on their own and realize what the actual meaning is.
I think a lot of that is missing in the newer music business of sorts, because everybody just consumes like one song and it's real quick and everything's like 3 minutes. It's not like the old days where you bought a record and you really listened to the way the artist sequenced it, which was important. It set the mood, it set the tone, and it drove the message, and that's all missing in a 3-minute download.
No, absolutely. I agree completely. Even in when I was growing up and the internet was, just kind of starting, well, not just starting out, but, kind of becoming a bigger thing. um, even then it was still, very important, even when we had CDs and we could skip track, and it was still an important thing, the way things were sequenced. And I definitely, I know that albums, as they say, are somewhat on the way out in terms of, popularity. It's all about singles now, but it is still really important to me personally, how things are sequenced. I think I spent more time sequencing Hemophilia than I did actually working on the song.
I mean, there's an art to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because you've got to keep that ebb and flow going, and you can get your point across in different ways the way you rearrange things, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, to look at some of my favorite albums, like The Downward Spiral, if that was sequenced a different way, it would be a completely different story, a different message, So I think people kind of take it for granted, because streaming makes it so easy to just listen to one song or half a song even, it's funny, you can see all these, analytics of people that listen to your music on Bandcamp, and you can see how many people finish songs, and so many of the listens are like 3/4 of the way through, and then they skip it.
Oh, I have the same thing with the podcast. I get those same analytics, and I'm like,
yeah,
everybody's 3/4 of the way through. Why don't you just finish the last 10 minutes?
Right. At that point.
Right. Yeah. I don't know what people are thinking, but you did the mixing and mastering and recording of all this as well, huh?
Yes, I did.
How is it doing it all yourself? And did you do it because you don't want anybody else involved, or how did?
It's a good question, actually. I think that's the only way I've ever really done it. So it's the only way I really know at this point. Actually, on First Blood song Parasite, the way that it was recorded and mixed, it was very chaotic and loud and noisy and messy, and I kind of did that on purpose, but then I thought maybe this is too much, so I actually tried to outsource that. And when I got the mix back, it just wasn't what I had in mind, and I went back and forth a little bit with the mixing engineer, and I kind of realized that I'm very much a perfectionist and control freak when it comes to that. So so for Hemophilia, I kind of purposely didn't even seek out any any extra hands for that, because I think that really is also part of the vision, especially the mixing. Mastering, it is important, but there's a joke that it's just changing the volume. It is more than that. It's
Sure.
Equalizing and everything. But
right.
But the mix to me is the most important part, because that is part of telling the story. So I definitely do purposely kind of keep that very much something that I like to do on my own.
Right. So Golden is quite theatric and has an image. So are you writing songs for like how they're going to come across on the stage, or how they will look on the stage, or are you writing a song for the song's sake and adapting later?
Right. I think that it started off probably just writing the song for the song's sake, but I do think now I kind of, because the image was something that kind of came about a couple of months ago. Really, I always had an image of what I wanted, and like with the First Blood cover, there's me covered in blood and all of this, but that was never really. I just did that because I thought it looked cool, and I never really thought of doing anything more on stage. But I just, I thought back to the bands and the artists that I grew up with, and the people that I look up to, and it was all very theatrical, and I really appreciate that. And I actually have a background in theater, so it kind of really made sense, to do that. So now I think that with the new single that I've been working on recording, I think I definitely took into consideration the fact that things are more theatrical now. Because for our first couple of years of performing, I think, before we had actually released anything, I was just going on stage, no makeup, just, I had specific outfits and all of that, but it wasn't theatrical at all, really. But I think, now I take it into consideration. And the biggest thing that I kind of take from the theatrics is that it's actually easier to say the things I want to say, because it feels less like who I am as an everyday.
So like an alter ego sort of thing?
Yeah, it is kind of like an alter ego. it's still me, but it's very much an amplified version, and I feel more comfortable saying things that I might not if it's not for the theatrics.
Are you planning on taking this out on the road?
Oh God, I hope so. Yeah, I just actually just kind of shook up the lineup of the live band, and so we're still kind of getting used to each other's playing styles and kind of getting into the groove of things again. So we have our first local show coming up with this new lineup, December 15th. And so I'm hoping to, at some point next year, kind of just go on like a tri-state, small thing and play with some of the bands that I really like in the tri-state area. And then, yeah, hopefully expand from there. But probably we would start in, Philadelphia, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. Get in the van and go.
Exactly. Very low budget, no budget.
Right. No, I get that. Definitely the music business has changed and the market's flooded since COVID. Everybody's out on the road now trying to make a living. So it's really hard. I get it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, this is not something I would be doing if I cared about money.
Right.
Cause they're really, I think there's only really money, when you quote unquote make it or you sign and then you start touring and selling a lot of merch and that kind of thing. But yeah, I think whatever the first tour we go on is, it's going to be probably a pretty big expense, but worth it.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I mean, there's the amount of arena selling bands that I'm used to from when I grew up is really diminished. I think it's mostly people have to work and get on the road and, balance everything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was having a short conversation with someone who's in the band Contra Cult Collective. I don't know if you listen to them, but they're an industrial band out of LA. And yeah, we were talking about how, because the legacy acts are still the money making acts, newer bands typically don't get on these big festival bills and like they just announced this Sick New World festival, which I'd love to go to.
Right.
All of my favorite bands are there, but you don't have a lot of up and coming bands getting on these bills because they don't make money and no one really wants to take a chance because there's not music. I mean, there's not money in music anymore.
Right. Yep.
So yeah, it's difficult.
It's a very different world for sure.
It is.
So we've only got a few minutes left. I have a little sort of game that I play with everybody.
All right.
I've got
absolutely.
I've got a very screwed up slide. We use a different one every time we do this, but today's slide in all the interviews is going to be the one coming up. All I need you to do is tell me what's happening in the picture and what's going to happen next. And there's no wrong answer, and you can say whatever you want. So hang on. What's going on in the picture? What's going to happen next?
Oh my God. Okay.
Do you have that?
Wow. What's going on in the picture? I think because of what we were just talking about, I see the paint in the background and it kind of looks like this person has decided to set his own life on fire by becoming an artist. And what's going to happen next? That's a good question. Next, it will be his wallet burning.
Perfect. I know that's kind of screwed up, but these little shorts do really well.
No, I love it.
We were just talking about the attention spans, and the 30-second attention span is really good. These things do great. So
yeah, no, I love that. That's hilarious.
And my sister's actually a psychiatrist in New York City, and she and she gave me all these slides that they use for different things, and
that is hilarious.
She may go back and watch the show someday and secretly evaluate everybody, but just for fun.
Psychoanalyze me.
Right. But this is just for fun, and we use the same slide. I've got 9 interviews today. We're going to use it for everybody, and then there'll be like a bunch of shorts with that, and it's kind of fun. Just something.
No, I love that. That is fun. Yeah.
So thank you for playing along. But before we go, did I miss anything you wanna cover, or did I get it? That's all I have on my list.
No, I mean, I think you got everything. I guess we have new music coming very soon. We haven't announced it yet, but I'm hoping to have it out by the end of the month. So,
and if fans want to find you, where do they? You want to drop links?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find us at gldnmusic.com. Look us up on Spotify, Golden, GLDN, GLDN Music Official on Instagram, and basically every other social media.
Thank you, my friend. I hope that wasn't too bad.
Yes, not at all. It was great. It was so much fun.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
I love the music. Good luck with the
Thank you.
the future here, and hopefully maybe I'll catch up in New York one day because I'm up there a lot. So
yeah, I hope so. Thank you so much for having me.
Take care, my friend.
All right.
Be well.
You too. You too.